here I can find the tan phi is known to us. Right? Now I want to write it this in a different form. Okay. So I think that is in the slide also there, in books also it is there. So I can write xt as a in the expanded form, right? Omega nt cos phi plus sin omega nt cos phi, correct? Okay. Now you got tan phi, right? So I can find out cos phi. I can sorry, this is sin phi. I can find out sin phi. I can find out cos phi, correct? So substitute sin phi and cos phi. Substitute a here. Tell me what is the expression. You understood it? What I am asking you to do? You know tan phi, so find out sin phi cos phi. Substitute there. You know a, substitute there, and tell me the expression for xt of two separate quantity, right? So plus something plus. Obviously, this will be something into cosine omega nt, and this will be something into sine omega nt, right? So what is that actually? Something quantity? Just tell me. Okay.
So x naught omega n into cos omega nt, then x naught dot into sin omega nt.
Sorry, what is the quantity here? Here?
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, x naught dot by omega n, sir, into cos omega nt.
X naught dot by omega n into cos omega nt.
Yes, sir.
I have done it correctly, right?
Yes, sir.
And here in sine omega nt what?
Sir, no, sir. X naught into cos omega nt, x naught dot by omega n into sin omega nt, sir.
So asking what is I have done it correctly. Okay. Because you have to remember this expression, okay, for quickly. If you don't remember, that is fine also, you can do it quickly. But anyway, it is better to remember. So x naught cos omega nt, and this is x naught dot by omega n, right?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can use basically this expression, right? Or this expression also, right? So to find out the responses, okay? So you see, it is depends upon only the initial conditions, and this is the natural frequency system properties, okay? Now tell me, so this is my response, right? Xt versus time, okay? So why it is like oscillatory nature and repeating after a certain time? Due to what mathematical property you find out in this expression? Due to what reason it is oscillating? What, I mean, not physically I am saying. Okay, I mean saying from the mathematical point of view, tell me, expression by seeing expression, what is the term is responsible for this oscillatory nature? Very simple, right?
Sine and cos terms.
Correct, absolutely. This term and this term, right? The sine and cosine term is there, that's why oscillating. Or in other words, what I can say, due to this, how this sine and cosine terms are coming? Due to this imaginary term, right? I. Because you see Euler transformation, e raised to I omega nt is equal to cos I omega nt plus sine omega nt. Sorry, not cos omega nt plus I sine omega nt. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you see this, just remember this, we'll come into that when I will introduce the damping, so your concept will be clear. You see this type of small thing usually ignored, and you see I can just derive it and or give the slides, finish it. But this small thing, try to understand it, I mean it will be helpful for you. Okay. So due to this I, right? So this due to this imaginary term, you are getting this type of motion, oscillatory type of motion. So if this, let's say it is C1 e raised to omega nt plus C2 e raised to minus omega nt, then it is a non-oscillatory because I is not there, right? It is just a e raised to, just exponentially, either decay or I mean growing. So that is different thing, but it is not an oscillatory. That is what I am trying to emphasize. Okay. So I'll come to the damp with the system with damping, but before that, just one more thing is remaining with this. Yeah. So we want to see what happens to energy in this undamped system, right? So the initial condition is, initial displacement is this, initial velocity is this, right? So now tell me what is my input energy, total input energy to the system, because obviously through initial conditions I am imparting some energy to the system, right? Then that's why it is oscillating. So what is the energy I'm inputting? Let me call it
half
EI.
f into x dot square.
Again,
X dot square plus half k x square, x naught square.
because these are the initial conditions. So at initially there is no other energy. I'm just giving, because the system was in equilibrium condition. I've given some initial displacement velocity. So this is my kinetic energy and this is my potential energy. Perfect. At any time, what is the energy? At any time t, you find out the energy. Okay. So let's say at any time et or whatever you can say. Okay. So what will be the energy? So that will be kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? So what is the kinetic energy? So half m, you find out the velocity, make it square. Potential energy half k, displacement square. Xt square. Basically, I should not write like this. It should be xt square. Okay. And you will do the calculation now. So it is basically xt, right? At any time, this is the displacement. So it's square. This is the x dot t. It's square. Okay. So you know xt, right? In the last slide, we have just discussed xt, right? Xt is this. Okay. So put it here xt, put it here x dot t, add it kinetic energy, potential energy, do the trigonometric simplification, and tell me what the energy you are getting at any time t. Any doubt here? Simple, right? So input energy, that time only the initial conditions. At any time t, my system response displacement is xt, and velocity is just differentiation of the displacement, that is x dot t. I know the expression of xt, so I can differentiate it to get the velocity. I'll put the expression, I mean those quantities in the kinetic energy and potential energy expression, add it, get the total energy at any time t. So simplify it and tell me what you are getting. So I'll request, please everybody do the things. Okay, it will be good for you only. Okay, practice during class is better. Okay. But it is, because it is very difficult to in the online mode to understand who is doing or who is not doing, or is understanding and not understanding. So if you have any doubt, you ask me, and please do it also. It is a very simple thing, and I am explaining it in a very simple manner so that you can understand. Okay. So anybody got the expression? It is just some trigonometric manipulation, nothing else. If you forget, you see the expression for xt is that x naught cos omega nt plus x naught dot by omega n sin omega nt. Okay. So you have to just substitute xt here and square, and you have to substitute differentiate it, substitute here and take square, and then just add it kinetic energy and potential. Yes. It's difficult, not so difficult, right? What difficulty you are facing in doing that?
So it is having a lot of terms. It's not simplified.
Lot of in the first xt to this plus this, right? So if you just square it, you see the first square, the second square plus 2 into this plus this. I can just do it by, you see, simply you can do it. If you differentiate it, so you see what will happen. Cos will be minus sin will be cosine, right? Okay. So you see for the 2ab term, basically a plus b whole square is equals to a square plus b square plus 2ab. So in one case it will be 2ab, in another case it will be minus 2ab, right?
So there will be omega in also.
So
Omega
K
n
name is, but K and M is there, right? So you can write K equals to M omega n square, right? Because omega equal to root over K by M.
Oh, okay.
That is a very basic definition, right? Omega n equals to root over K by M. The system natural frequency. Then finally you can again substitute omega n square equal to K by M to get into the form of M and K. Okay? Come on. Yes. Anybody? Please. Time is running out.
Sir, it's coming as same as initial energy only, sir. Kx naught square plus mx naught square.
You have done it, right?
Yes, sir.
But anytime the initial energy, and that has to be okay. Unless you do a calculation mistake, that has to be okay. Otherwise, it will be contradictory with the system physics, because system is saying that the response is like this, oscillatory without any decay in the amplitude, continuously for the lifetime. Okay, which is not possible for the real life scenario. So since the damping is not there, there is no energy dissipation. What input I am giving at any time, you see, it is any time. So the same energy is remaining. Okay. That's the thing. Okay, so that is what I want to see. Next, so next we'll move to the free vibration of damped system. Okay, basically damped free vibration. Vibration of SDOF system. That is single degree of freedom system. Okay. So now my equation will get changed in next double dot. So another extra term will come into the picture. Right. So now previously what characteristic equation you obtained by substituting the solution as, we assume that the solution will be C raised to something like this, right? CST. Okay. So now what is my solution? I mean, so the same solution assuming what is my characteristic equation? So previously it is S square plus omega n square equals to 0. Now tell me what will be my at present for this equation, what is the characteristic equation? Yes, tell me. S square plus this, and the last case when damping was not there, for no damping. This is the characteristic equation C. So what is now not civil engineering characteristic equation? Okay. So what is the characteristic equation now? It will be a little confusing. So actually this C small is, I should use some different notation. Okay. This is actually some constant. Okay. Okay. Anyway, this now it will be C1, C2 after some time. So don't worry. This is damping small c you can use. This is a capital C actually. Okay. Or you can use A, capital A or capital whatever, some constant. Yeah, come on, please. What is the characteristic equation? S square plus
Sir, ms square plus cs plus k equal to 0.
m square plus cs plus
K equal to 0.
correct. Very simple, right? So now I want to write in a similar form, so I can write. Is it right? Any doubt? Any doubt by anybody? No doubt. It's simple. Just last time we got this, so just this time added because of this. That's all. Okay. Okay. Now just remember that this is just damping. Okay. So this is the first solution you have considered. Okay. And then yeah. So what we have did last time, we find out S. So tell me what is the S value for this? Is a quadratic equation. So there will be two root, right? Go to the next slide. So I am writing again here characteristic equation C by M S plus omega n square equals to 0, where omega n equals to root over k by m. So my solution, so I'll write S1 comma 2 because there are two root, right? Tell me what is the solution.
The minus of C by M
Minus of C by m
plus minus
minus of C by m plus minus
under root of C by M whole square
yes
minus 4 Wn square
that's all
divided by 2
divided by 2.
whole
So I
divided.
can write, yeah, so I can write it 2 then just divide it 4 omega n square. So 4 will get cancelled out. Is it right or not?
Then it will become C by 2M inside also.
Also right, I have written C by 2, correct?
Yes, and 4 will cut down Wn.
4. Okay. So let me write clearly. So now tell me after dividing it what is coming? Just tell me. So minus c by 2 I remember, then plus minus root over, I think this square, right? C by 2m square minus omega n square, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these are the two roots. One is c by 2m plus this, another is minus c by 2m minus of this. Fine. Okay. So as we have seen in the last time, so the solution is depends upon this two root, and basically the solution is general solution is C1 e raised to basically the one first root S1t plus C2 e raised to S2t. Recall the last time. S1 is I omega and S2 is minus I omega, right? So that's why my solution was C1 e raised to I omega t plus C2 e raised to I omega t. Correct? Okay. So similarly here also, because since it is C1 and S1 and S2 is larger, I mean larger, bigger expression, so I have just written S1t and S2t. Okay. Now, just few minutes back, I mean after 10 minutes back, you told that the system oscillatory nature behavior is due to the imaginary, right? I, due to the term I imaginary coming into the picture. Now tell me from this expression, which term will be responsible, if at all, for to get a I imaginary? First term or this term? The second term?
Square root.
Second term. So if at all I get the imaginary, it can be real, right? I don't know. Depending on the values of these and these, it can be real or if it is negative quantity inside this portion, so it can be, I can get them. So there is a chance only from this term, right? There is no chance from this because C is also some positive quantity. I mean the real quantity, positive, negative. I will not say, and M is positive and real quantity. Okay, so it is always real. There is no chance of that for getting imaginary from this. Okay, just a minute. Okay, yeah, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so you see, so this term is responsible. Now, let us first consider a case which is also known as the critical case. So, when this term in the inside the square root is becomes 0. So, if it is 0, you see, then it is always real, right? Okay, so that we are defining as the critical case. Okay, okay, because if this term is 0 becomes, so then it is always a real. So that critical at that critical case, I am defining that C I am calling as the CC, right? Okay, critical damping coefficient. Okay, whole square minus omega n square equal to 0. Correct? Okay. So that is giving us CC equals to what? CC equal to 2m omega n, right? 2m. Fine. So this is called the critical damping. Okay. So when this expression becomes 0. Okay. Now we are introducing another term which is called the damping ratio. Okay. There is non-dimensional parameter. Damping ratio, which is known as the zeta. Okay. So my writing on zeta is very bad. Actually, it is either like this or something like this also sometimes defined. Okay. Anyway, so I will write in this way only. Write it fast. So zeta is defining as the C divided by CC. Okay. Right. So that is the damping coefficient of the present system divided by the at the critical condition. Right. Okay. This is the basically given damping divided by critical damping. So you see, since the same quantity you are dividing, so it's a dimensionless parameter, right? So damping ratio. Okay. Okay. So we'll discuss about this more in detail. What is damping ratio? What is the significance of this? Okay. So what can I? So if in terms of this non-dimensional parameter damping ratio, what is the expression for C? Tell me now. What is the expression for C in terms of this zeta? What is C?
Zeta into CC.
Then that is what it is.
Zeta 2m zeta into omega n.
Yes, 2m omega n. Please remember this expression. Okay. There are usually a lot of short questions, multiple choice question coming from this here it is. Zeta c by cc, then cc 2m omega n, c equals to 2m omega n zeta, or some other expression can be written. You see, if I write omega n equals to root over k by m, so that expression is available. So I can write it what? 2 k by m, right? So root over km. Am I right? You can write it like this. So there can be a chance for short question. Okay. And also, there is a question come, what is critical damping? Okay. So that will come, that I'm coming. But you see, you can say that the damping ratio is C by Cc. So critical damping is when zeta equals to 1, right? That is C equal to Cc, right? That is the critical damping. So when the zeta equal to 1, then C equal to Cc. That's the critical damping. But that is not actually the physical definition. So you have to, along with this, you have to say the physical definition also. Okay. So that I am coming next. Okay. So this much you have got, right? So now I am making this quantity, that is c by 2m whole square minus omega n square. So that I am defining as the critical condition. So in that case, I am getting CCH 2m omega n, which can also be written as 2 root over of km. How I am writing 2 root over k? Because omega n is root over k by m. So if I substitute this, I am getting this. Okay. So now I am defining another non-dimensional parameter zeta, which is called the damping ratio. Okay. Damping ratio, or it's also called the what is that? Fraction of critical damping. It's called the fraction of critical damping, or usually damping ratio. You can remember both the thing, but damping ratio I will use most of the time. Okay. Why it is fraction of critical damping? Because it's C by Cc. Okay. C by Cc ratio. So it is showing that the how much, like usually it is defined in the percentage, right? Zeta is in percentage. Let's say zeta is 10%. You can say 10% of the critical damping. Right? Cc 10% of Cc. Right. Okay. That means then zeta I will express as 0.01. So that's why it is also called the fraction of critical damping. Okay, so I can write the expression for the coefficient of damping. So if I give zeta, let's say I told you that system mass you know, right? Then system natural frequency, let's say you know. So I told you that my critical damping ratio, damping ratio or fraction of critical damping is 20%. Then you can easily find out the what is the coefficient of viscous damping. That is C. Clear? Okay. So now with this new non-dimensional parameter, tell me what is S1 and 2. What is S1? Now you have to tell S1 and 2 in terms of zeta, the non-dimensional parameter, and omega n, right? Because omega n is there and m and c now we are replacing. Okay. So now tell me what is S1 and 2 in terms of these parameters. This is the natural frequency and this is the damping ratio. Tell me. It is just for convenience and it is the standard way to express this in terms of the non-dimensional damping ratio instead of the coefficient of viscous damping C. Okay. Because C, you see, C we are not measuring. We'll see how to find out this damping ratio experimentally. Okay, for a single degree of freedom system, how to find out that will come later. But we actually find this non-dimensional parameter zeta. Okay. Then you can do 2m omega and zeta to obtain the coefficient of viscous damping. Okay. So what is the expression for S12, please?
Sir, omega
So minus
n
omega zeta plus minus omega root zeta square minus 1.
Slowly, minus zeta omega n, right?
Yes, sir. Minus zeta omega n plus or minus omega
Plus
n
minus omega n
whole root over zeta square minus 1.
zeta square. Very good. Okay. So you see, so this is now basically two roots. Okay. And depending on the root, again, what is my solution? Solution is this. C1 e raised to S1t plus C2 e raised to S2t. Okay. So depending upon the S12, depending on the parameter, only zeta and omega. That's the two quantity it is depending on, right? So depending on this two quantity, my solution will say how it is the solutions, the behavior of the solution basically. Right? Now if zeta is equal to 0, then what will happen? What is S12? Yes, come on.
0.
Plus minus I iota.
Plus minus I omega.
Yes, who said 0 plus minus I omega n? Okay, that is the last case. Yesterday you have discussed, right? That is the undamped system. Then the solution will be C1 e raised to I omega n t plus C2 raised to minus. That is already done. Forget about that. So that is the undamped case. That you have already done. Forget about that test. Okay. Now we'll come to zeta is equal to 0 we have done. So and zeta is equal to 1. What will happen? What will be S1 and 2? Obviously both root will be same actually, S1, S2. What will be S1 and S2?
Minus omega n.
Minus omega. Real or imaginary?
Real.
Real. Oscillate or not oscillate? System response? System will oscillate or not oscillate?
It will. It will.
Huh?
It will oscillate.
How it will oscillate?
It won't ask.
What is the reason for oscillation in this case, in the undamped case? We just discussed 15 minutes back. Due to this imaginary, right? I. Because of this, we are getting cos and sine term, right? How will you get here cos and sine term? So in this case, what will be the solution? In this case, the solution will be general solution since it's a repeated root, right? Two roots are same. Okay. X2 will be C1 plus C2 into T. That you know already. This to minus omega n. Okay. There's no I component is there, right? You see, I'm again repeating. Just go back here. So what is the, I don't know, what is the reason for this oscillatory behavior? Because of this, someone told there is cosine term and this due to sine term. How this cosine and sine term is coming? Because of this e raised to I omega n t. Because of I omega n t, so Euler transformation I can write e raised to I omega n t equal to cos omega n t plus I sin omega n t. And similarly for this. So this I, this imaginary quantity, I mean I is responsible for the oscillatory nature. So here if zeta is equals to 1, okay. So in that case, I am getting the real roots, okay, and my solution is this, okay, and you can just plot it, right? Just give the different values of t and plot the response within from time t equal to 0 with an increment of 0.01 second. You plot it till 10 second, okay. Just plot this function. It is a function of t only, right? Because omega n you want to read root over k by n. Take some value omega n. Plot this function. C1, C2 also you arbitrarily some choose and just plot and see what is happening to this, whether it is oscillatory or non-oscillatory, okay. Correct? Okay. Okay, so from the initial conditions now, so what you have got xt. So this is for zeta equal to. So if zeta is equal to 1, that means c equal to cc, right? Okay. So this case is called the critically damped system. This system is called the critically damped system. Okay. Got it? Because why critical? Because c is becomes cc, so that is represented by zeta is equal to 1. Okay. So actually the definition of the what is critical damping is that, so it is the lowest amount of damping. Okay, if I'll just show you. So if zeta is greater than 1, let's say 1.5 also if I put, so it will also be non-oscillatory in nature. Okay, so it is the lowest amount of damping which has to be present in the system for non-oscillatory motion. Okay, that is the physical definition. Then you can tell zeta is equal to c by cc, c equal to 2m omega and zeta, whatever you like. Okay, so now for this case we have obtained some C1 plus C2t plus this thing, right? So now C1 and C2 I can find out from the initial condition, okay? So initial displacement condition. But since this is actually not presenting or in general physical system, there are some physical system is there. Yeah, now tell me. So I will ask you. So can you give one example for where this critical damping exists? So in this case, obviously, as you see, so C1, C2, so this is the time dependent part, and this is also time dependent, but exponential decay, right? So with the exponential decaying part, okay? So the response should be like this, okay? So as the t tends to infinity, so e raised to minus omega n t, right? So as t tends to infinity, so this the response will grow or decay?
Decay.
Decay. So asymptotically decay to 0. So the response will be something like this, okay? With some initial displacement velocity will start, okay? So it just decay without any oscillation. And it will fastest decay rather than this. So that's called the critical damping, depending upon the initial condition. So please remember that I am showing the initial condition only on the positive side. It can start from here or negative displacement also, no problem. But it is going like this. So there will be no oscillatory motion. Correct? Okay. So if this is the case, what is called, this is the critically damped system. And yeah, now give some example. Just think about that and tell. So that means what is happening, let me further simplify. So I'll just give you some initial displacement of velocity and leave it. So it is, without oscillation, it is slow, go down and slowly come to the rest. This is the equilibrium position, right? Static equilibrium position. This is xt. So it is, without oscillation, it will just come down to rest. What is the example? Something we are pulling and the releasing. Without oscillation, then going to the other half, it will just slowly come down to the rest.
Just like sliding off a box in a wedge, friction wedge,
Sliding.
of a block or a mass in a friction wedge.
No, here we are not talking about friction. Friction is not a simple example. We are entering an office, big office.
The door, sir, door.
Yes, automatic door closure, right? That automatic door closure. You see, you just pull it and leave it. That means you are giving some initial disturbances. It just come down to rest. Okay. It is not come down to rest. There is some problem with this door closure, but it is the thing, right? This is the automatic. Any other example? So these are some special example, right? So you see, so our real system will, as you will see that our real system, the zeta, that is the damping ratio, right? Okay, this is much less than 1, much less than 1. Okay, the damping ratio will be much less than 1. In our real system, real structural system, right? Building, bridges, very less. Okay. So 1 is some special cases. And even greater than 1, so it's almost not there. It is just forcefully providing some system to get the desired thing. So any other example, maybe the that gun, right? Large guns the army used, right? So it should not bounce back, right? So it should not recoil it. So that's why the gun. There also there is a critical damping is there. Okay, we are diverting. Now comes the, so zeta is 1, now zeta greater than 1, and then we will last discuss the zeta less than 1, right? So that is the our actual most of the physical system that we are considering. Okay. So this zeta greater than 1. So obviously you understood that is critically damped. So this is called the over damped system. Over damped, or ideally speaking, it is the over critically damped system, right? It's called the over critically damped system. Okay. Now if zeta equal to 1, so what will happen? Tell me. Again the response will slowly goes down to 0 without oscillatory motion. Okay. But it is the slowest as compared to the critically damped system. That's why the terminology we are giving to the critically damped system. An example is that like automobile shock absorber, right? Automobile shock absorber. Okay, but we are not interested in this, okay, because we want to study the structural dynamics, and that is also elementary level. So our main focus in the how the structure behave, and that is our the most of the physical system, which is zeta less than 1. I should say actually much less than 1, but zeta less than 1. So this is called under-damped system, under-damped system, or under critically damped system. Okay, correct. Zeta is less than 1. So if zeta is less than 1, then what will happen? So now tell me, if zeta is less than 1, so how I can express my S12 root? Okay. Yes.
Minus theta plus or minus I into root of 1 minus
So
theta.
you see, I have not discussed much about this. Just 1 minute. I have not discussed much about this overtime system. If zeta is greater than 1, you can find out the roots and you can substitute there, right, in the general expression. That is xt equal to c1 e raised to s1t plus c2 e raised to s2t, and then you can find out the response if you are interested. Okay, but we'll discuss in more detail about this system, that is the zeta less than 1, that is the under damped system or under critical system, damped system. So here now you tell me what is the roots. Okay, so in this case it is the zeta less than 1, so obviously the root over of zeta square minus 1 is less than 0, right? So there will be imaginary term I will come into the picture, and obviously it will be oscillatory in nature. Okay, so zeta less than 1, that means c less than c critical, right? cc, because zeta is c by cc, correct? Okay, so now tell me what is S12 expression in? Tell me.
Minus zeta plus or minus I into root of 1 minus zeta square.
Minus zeta plus minus I of
Root of 1 minus zeta square.
1 minus zeta square into omega, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is S1, S2. So S1 will be just plus, S2 will be minus. So now I got the imaginary term. So what will be my solution? Okay. So let us know, before writing that, let me introduce, simplify the expression. So this is basically zeta omega n plus minus I omega d, the new term I have introduced. Okay. Correct. So what is omega d? Omega d is omega n root over 1 minus zeta square. What is omega n? Natural frequency root over k by n. Omega d is defined as the damped natural frequency of the system, right? Frequency of the damped free vibration, damped frequency. Okay. So now tell me what is the unit of omega n in SI unit? Oh, sorry, I mean, what is the unit of omega n?
Rads per second.
Radian per second. What is the unit of omega d?
Same thing, sir.
And why?
So zeta is dimension.
Non zeta is non-dimensional. Why non-dimensional? It is the ratio of same quantity, that is c by cc. Okay. It is just the critical term. Okay. So omega is called the damped. Now tell me omega d is more or omega n is more? Which one is? What is the relation? Omega d.
The omega n will be more, sir.
Yes. Why? Because zeta is
Less than 1.
Less than.
yes. Correct. So omega d is less than omega n, right? Correct? Just correct
Yes.
me if I am wrong. Correct. Okay. And if zeta is very small, then omega d is nearly equals to omega n, right? But zeta less than 1. Okay. Which is for many of the structural systems. Okay. Okay. We'll see. We'll plot this expression. Okay. So this is just I have introduced. So now tell me what is the response. So xt. So xt will be so c1 e raised to. So that is the first one into t and the second one into t. So I will write at a time. So minus zeta omega n is the common thing. So I'll take it out. Zeta omega n t. So minus zeta omega n t. Please remember this expression. Then c1 e raised to, it will be I omega dt plus c2 minus I omega dt. I is there. c1 c2 I can find out. So what I have written here. Something. This is not there, right? Yeah. Okay, anyway, so C1, C2 I will find out from the initial condition, that is initial displacement velocity, and that is my response. So just forget about this term. Can you see this term is same as the what we obtained for the free vibration, I mean sorry, undamped free vibration. For undamped free vibration, what we obtained? C1 e raised to I omega nt plus, remember, e raised to minus I omega nt. So instead of omega d we have obtained, instead of omega n earlier we obtained omega d here, but it is same, right? So that means this part is resembling that oscillatory without any decay, but this term is now there, right? Previously it is not there. Okay. Again here you can put zeta equal to 0, right? So it will be 1, this will be 1, and this omega d will be what? Omega n, right? Because omega d is omega n root over 1 minus zeta square. So zeta 0, so you will just get back the same result that we obtained for the undamped free vibration. Okay. Okay, so due to this extra term, which is exponential e raised to minus zeta omega n t is positive, omega n positive. In the present case, zeta is less than 1, but is positive. So this will exponentially decay or grow.
Decay, sir.
Decay. So the amplitude will exponentially decay. Okay. So the response will be like this. So you can just take this expression and you plot it, MATLAB or Excel, whatever you feel better. So then if this is my initial condition, so it will be something like this. After a certain time, it will come down to this. Okay. So this will create an envelope type of thing. Okay. And so this will be due to this actually. Okay. This is exponentially decaying amplitude. Okay. Oscillating nature due to this term, but it will be exponential decay, which represent the or physical most of the physical system. Right. If you just give initial disturbance and oscillate in, so after some time it will come down to this equilibrium position. Now how fast it will come depends on this quantity zeta damping, right? If the damping is more, in general it will come down to the fastest. Correct? Now do tell me, if zeta is negative, let's say, we have not discussed about that, but if let's say somehow I make the system that zeta is, or due to some condition zeta is negative, then what will happen?
Sir, it will exponentially grow.
Exponentially. Then this, if zeta is negative, then my response, if I start from some initial, some small disturbance I have given, right? Correct? It will grow like this. Got it? So that is instability, right? After some time it will fail. Okay. So this type of instability may occur in, that's called self-excitation. Okay, that's called the self-excited vibration. So please don't go into that, just remember that this thing happen for, this is called the instability problem. Okay. This instability may happen. Yeah, tell me.
But it is sir, law of conservation of energy is being violated. Energy is increasing.
No. This will happen. Some, yeah, how the zeta will get negative? It will happen if there is some external disturbance. Okay. So some external disturbance will be given to them, but that disturbance will be in such a manner that it will effectively make the damping negative. Effectively make the system overall damping negative. The disturbance will be such. It is under some disturbance. It is not under some free vibration. Okay.
Okay.
That type of disturbance, that's what I'm saying. It is under, it's called the self-excitation. In most of the cases, self-excitation. Okay. So the one of the greatest example is that the, yes, I just finished it, so give me just few minutes. So today actually lecture I have completed. Okay, so I'll not continue further. So this type of instability is that failure of, so you just search in the Google, YouTube. You can just now also see failure of original Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Okay, so this has failed in the year of 1940. This is a famous, or should I say infamous failure of the original Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Okay, so before that, the engineers thought that bridge, what will bridge fall in the wind? So due to wind excitation, this is not exactly wind excitation, it is the wind, some special type of wind excitation that's called the self-excitation. I will not go into the detail. That's the phenomena is called flutter instability. So the system has some damping, but due to this self-excitation, the system damping will be made zero or further negative. So the system will continue to oscillate violently. Okay, and after some time, it will fail. So just search in the YouTube failure of original Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Okay, and see the video. You see how violently it is oscillating only at a speed of, I forget, 20 something. So at that speed, it's completely collapsed, and after that. So there is a lot of study happened for the bridge under the wind loading, okay? But after that only, before not. So this study is actually, I mean, this type of this flutter phenomena, it's called the flutter. So that actually coming from the aerospace industry, okay? So where the wings of an aircraft which are subjected to flutter, okay? So around 1920s, 1930s, so there is a lot of wing failure due to this flutter phenomena. Because aircraft wing also is like a cantilever, right? Cantilever beam. So due to the wind effect, so there can be a flutter phenomenon. So that is an instability basically. Okay, so I'll stop it here. So next class we'll just continue with this responses. Okay, details of the responses and about the damped frequency, undamped frequency, and then how to estimate the zeta damping ratio. Okay. Okay. So have anyone seen the video in the YouTube or not yet? Yes, our YouTube was not working.
It's there.
Yeah, you have seen, right? How it is got completely collapsed and fall into the river. Okay, so fine. So we'll meet tomorrow at 12:30, and we'll finish this damped free vibration system. Okay. Okay. Thanks.